There's a lot of drama.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe sir, Kingsley on them Russia between
but yeah, chairman, issue a kesikra chain. Imagine an issue as since our drama. OSP and Alakwajis.
We'll come to that shortly. 17 to 11. Well, 17 to 10. I guess I'm 1 hour ahead of myself.
Peace FM.
Yenya Lumbanika Krebi for like 2 minutes, and then we'll go talking. And Charles in Kede, good morning to you, Charles. And to you, Mr. Buama, aka Otafrija. In Ethiopia.
Peace FM 104.3. Good to meet you.
9:45, Peace 104.3. Kingsley Nyako, I am Rashe Bedweni, Emma Quadaso. Kingsley Machi.
Yeah, Kwame.
Boko there.
Chairman General.
Yes, sir. You go so.
I mean, who are you? The legend general. Bombay.
Hey, Abdul Malik Kweku Bako.
What's that?
Oh, Nyamia Dom Bombay, who ya pa.
I'm sending a message last week or so.
Okay.
Let me say, who responded here. The boss. What's up now? Mama, what's up?
Abdul Malik, 80 Kingsley say I send a WhatsApp into Bomodiana.
Chairman say busy because I'm saying when there's vegetation response. Before now, private bill. Once it has financial implications, you are bad from presenting and allaying it.
Where's subtle agenda?
Subtle agenda. A running mate agenda now. Is it a running mate agenda? And no comment for now. Yes, sir.
You know what time is it?
Is it a running? Are they?
Hey, you many be have a count, and I didn't be have a count.
Oh, we're sure.
No,
I didn't them say and said didn't say
no comment in the
I'm Michel.
Yeah.
I'm Kokrokoo for first.
How much you so
Santa Mani Ghana for you now. Now, Mr. on Ghana Publishing Company Limited board.
Okay.
On CEO no, managing director. David Asante.
David.
Wang Sandipa. I said we say transform that place now. I'm sure you are aware.
Me ba watch it.
Oh, and I make a so about never inspection.
Me ba watch it.
What me call as open branch campo Kumasi.
Publishing branch.
Yeah. Oh Kumasi.
How was that possible?
Sometime next year it's going to be either by end of this year or early next year it should be done. We're going to do the inspection. One maybe a SIC one. Close to Pempe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a promising guy, fantastic guy. And MD, we will be about so.
Ghana Publishing.
Yeah.
David Asante. Of Let My Vote Count Fail.
Fantastic guy.
Send or person you vote to count it. Not on the edge, Juma. I mean, I brand here, pa.
I tell you, Janinaso for.
Oh, Janinaso, I brand here, pa.
And I bought chair, Danny, KNUST. Dog, Munya, Moya, then all the board members know. I'm a Yuko. I mean,
Medasi. Now, and right now, my children.
Machonamo.
I didn't see it.
Kwame. Ghana politics. So Kwame, I know. Only say Finance Minister every day budget on 15th November. Until we are pay our standing orders now about 3 days interval. Or say you started. So we are 2 days interval. You better call post budget analysis.
Okay.
If we are now you started debate now. I think last week Monday. And no one conclude debate no. Number conclusion of the debate no. The leaders in the house from both sides. And Dr. Keso Atoba Fossen and the Venerable Messi or say Chairman Sabonsu. I mean it was very good deep debate and
Okay.
We are also Speaker of Parliament or presided over debates on debate TV. So the Obene say Obe determine those who support and also disagree. And to know obisa question the first one.
Namuka say he puts the question.
Yeah. He has to put the question. It's no number obedi can free eyes no voice.
There's a mom with tum.
Yes.
And only eyes no.
Eyes no mom the tum no. It's no can eyes no. Ye ye tiam so. No samba no for no. But he was not sure because as almost the same. And also put a question in BM or some bisa question in BM.
Okay.
And obisa second one. No, I can't say office ice no, or mom the tomb no, or monya.
Tan okay.
That's what he said.
And the bro from the eyes have it, okay.
Yeah, or say okay, or no say I think the eyes have it.
Okay.
So it wasn't certain.
Certain, yeah. But I say.
Yeah, say.
So I'm a Kofi Boa deputy minority leader. Sorry. Big sir for headcounts per standing order 1132.
So say enka baku to send katie.
So but oka headcount no. According to your deputy leader Afana Marking, and also very sharp, intelligent lawmaker. On oka say procedure no one follow because one challenge the ruling of the speaker. You should do it properly. But according to speaker, no, office Ama Kofi Boa was right because Ono insisted say Ono can say he thinks and say the eyes have it. And if you indulge me, I want
me too.
Me standing order 1132 or say a member may call for headcount or division if the opinion of Mr. Speaker on the voice vote is challenged. So Mr. Speaker saw Okasa he thinks so. Then or say Ama Kofi Boa was right say or no a challenge no. But Afana Marking disagreed that it should come up properly with a proper application. The point to make clear no.
Proper application.
Yes. But my understanding of the Afana Marking canon, if I'm not wrong. Standing order 93.5 a case conduct of Mr. Speaker any superior court of judicature and some persons no can only be challenged on the substantive motion. I don't know whether that was what Afana Marking was referring to. That is, it was supposed to come properly. So 93.5 the conduct of Mr. Speaker, members, the Chief Justice and judges of the Superior Court of Judicature shall not be raised except upon the substantive motion. So that is part of the provision. Okay, I say, Tama NDC 4 years say, Maudio say, Omo reject budget no. The next day I sit here no, it was over 10. And how na do so? Or making the submission, okay, I say. He quoted the same order 925 no said they will come back on the substantive motion.
Okay.
So that's all my thinking. So me no ekoso. Then all of a sudden, and Mr. Speaker, Eka said there should be that head count into no Yanko in terms of register and all that. And now the leaders know well I say that will amount to a division because coming here, we say parliament no almost 3 years now. If you are time so they understand the rules, but better than some of us. There are kind rules no.
But when should I find your Juma?
No, I'm talking about deeper understanding. No, so let me compare me to Chairman Sabonsone or Mamakano. So
of course,
but what I've seen in the house, and say the head counts now. Me if you're no, yes, original that is what I have observed. So head count no, but division there a different procedure, and or that 114 different procedure. No, your names are called. So
one by one.
That's it. But this one, no, it was not. And coming, Maho say, Omo can say, be can say, no, you need numbers, no. Before say, you could now we were away. Say, NDC, I minority side, no, it moved 5 in your because we knew, say, some George at that time now, or say, you take you decision, not some George anyhow. It's not toward my Rollins. Kokrokoo no ni ho mama ya yoga box central no ni ho the chikwesing no ni ho and Emmanuel Kojo Adekum in Kwasa South no ni ho. So we were convinced there were numbers not to do what was get to do, but our leaders also felt say it was maybe speaker was trying to delay, so said about minority members no ebeba. So whilst we were there now hinting me and taking head count no, we saw that some judge came. I saw that some judge came later. So coming, they see all no. But for me, no. Under the Republican Constitution, this Malik Kokrokoo can put me wrong. Under the 8th Parliament, and I who say you vote on a budget. The principles are underpinning the budget. This is the only time I'm coming. Me largely no, yeah, not a consensus. So, I say because of the near hand parliament, no, the minority per se almost take advantage because coming the budget, for the people, government and I execute on behalf of the people. So it is the people's budget. And the just to look at the principles. And the principles no budget no pay 3 we're outlining 6 principles are underpinning the 2024 budget. One of them it provides the pathway towards fiscal consolidation, macroeconomic stability. It's like a semo and share. Any, the economy, no issues like inflation, interest rate, and all that. I bet me I stabilize it. I met me acquire him. I face no answer. Domestic debt restructuring. It is part of the budget. Or say.
And say you are scoring political points. No, whilst the people suffer.
That is my worry. So I'm saying and no idea no, just we needed to approve the budget. We will look at the estimates from every sector of the economy. When you discuss estimates, no, we raise issues before say you buy appropriation. Sika you say you be here no for next year, which is about 259 billion. I include interest payment and debt clearance and all that. So why do we do this to ourselves? Budget, and some of the NDC members describe this budget as empty and dysfunctional. Because say Wednesday during debate.
Sir, any your opinion? Maybe almost from Sano Margin.
Kwame to you. Former Minister, Deputy Minister for Finance, Rickett Hagan.
Rickett Hagan.
On I'll make it that point now. Then Enora at forcing minority leader we echo that. How can you describe a budgeter, meaning a making provision of 220 million cedis for you anoma at Enchem Etuomo because of the Akosombo, floods? How can you describe 220 million provided said they are in relief packages for them? This same budget essay, government collaborating secure funding from the International Development Association or the in collaboration with the World Bank said we are on this crisis response window. You bet me I settle. You know at Atomo voter reading bono is and baby you now or how do you say that empty? Come in. But empty NSA next year workers akatua between January and June yet increasing by 23%. Then July to December you're increasing by 25%.
2% according to 25.
Yes. So come in. How do you say a dysfunctional budget when this is being done? Come in. Budget are etia members of parliament car. Etia staff of parliament car. Etia amount for car. And she share to improve upon reporting. Come in. Capitation grants. Yeah, this year allocation, next year allocation quite 84 million. Come in. School feeding program. You're raising it from 99 million to about 1.4 billion. Ninya she share ya de boa disua. Me education committee so. Your budget for this year was 24 billion. Come ya pagem equal 29.5 billion. Almost 30 billion. How do you describe this budget as dysfunctional? You know what I say? Said a normal boy if I see Kosoro equal about 54%. Last month or so about 35.2%. In this budget, we are saying, by next year or so, we should be able to do 15%. Come so how? So for me, no, yeah, na a hard yeah, man, same day, but yanwe nipano. So yeah, well, economic crisis. We all know the challenges that we are going through are buying to soothe the pains of the people. For me, no, that is fundamental and very important. You say, now you know my issue. Says sanitary part. 2 was no yen free so. This budget, I say, the VAT on that no Kwame is 0. Is this budget an empty budget? Kwame, is it an empty budget? You say, locally produced prints, and also should be 0 rated in terms of VAT. Kwame, so Oka say bia or say bianca ye di we ni we ka I won't contest you because for me no I addition a bit to me abua ama yenya shaya beboma omano akwanim but obe describe no in these derogatory terms for me no it has not been fair. Politics there okay so ope to me fine me I don't have any points about that because political party biano ope say the share or the bano then talk about my to me for me that is fair but my point is that we need to also be fair and objective to ourselves. So now I respect nipa na moto about I say Kwame you can do whatever you have to do but me build a robust economy but nipa no ka so beto about tiawa then Jeko Fanye he did his best. The economy was doing well. By 2008 we lost the election.
Well, 2008 J. Kufuor was not on the ballot.
But I'm
it could be seen as different.
Kwame, he was not on it, but
the MPP lost collateral. Kufuor lost collateral.
The MPP even profited from the record because first round you no lead.
But your company on the record of J. Kufuor.
Absolutely.
And Nako Pardum so you company on the record of the Kufuor and J. Kufuor. And Bamia is going to win. Kwame, so the course of parliament, me feel say a idea now me can change this for to be and one say I'm very careful because in this parliament obetimi a new presidency no but obenya you form minority in the house. And you know say nakopon amfa sama na zibia in the unlikely event say NDC ebe win election. Na say omunya minority members in the house, how can they govern? How can they govern? So we are phone, sir. Not what you would hear. Cosiplat, be a chiao. So, a new class say, a man of 17, Yama Nipano Esofa. Me, I don't do that kind of politics. I don't. And I need to say, you have to be very careful. If you say, hey, no matter what you do, say, there you're dear, you only have to do your best and leave the rest to God. So, until no, me no, me feel say, and yet no credit say, now you need numbers no. You call a damn honor no. Now we knew say, Omnipa 5 in your.
And I'm Muslim in anyhow.
I think say me as far as I know that 3. Yeah, no, not yet 3. Yes. Oh no.
Is that not the convenient calculation?
Oh no, the NDC themselves.
An observation.
No, NDC. Nyakasa Benada here for. Waka. Or see that year 3. The NDC themselves no. In fact, when you tell me what chamber or no. Omo deputy ship Banda MP Ahmed. Eka say yen call for no 4 ni ho. 4 no obomu nyadin. The fourth person was Tuferu. Or not Tuferu so general.
So Ohobi.
So the end is for no omunum say omo 2 no ni ho, but we knew say year 5. So your leaders no fail say ABR na Speaker of Parliament now or delay said the bear I mean the members of the NDC will be there. That is
MP Brofibu or yes
say but yes, I don't know whether that was
Brofibu or say fiddling while Rome bends. Namuye Ghana for bro.
Coming. That's this and
but you're scoring political points and I 5 no 4 na 3 on 2 and the eyes have it speaker can we no confront head count and fine could see but
no the when I say over the years no that was why I make say Malik Abdul Kokrokoo semi boa the first time I because those times in no budget na consensus na you vote on unless I'm proved wrong. So this should have been a consensus or something idea.
Work well. Your leadership failed.
I can't say I can't say
Chairman,
I'm saying
building, it takes 2 to tango.
Yes, I'm saying
say don't build consensus.
No, Tio. I think mean time can say that didn't happen because
no, if you build consensus, you would have seen that.
Yes, but if you are so many party, me say a tiny bit of friend apam. And Chairman General Kayano say podcast goal scoring. In politics, no, but me no be I agree be ana can be as no on bet me not why be football.
As we stand today, budget no has it been approved or not?
As far as I sit here, from what they observe here no, when Speaker Carr said the eyes had it no at that time no, you who said it has been over 10. So no for me no. As I sit here, you say, Oka said the eyes have it no.
Nothing has changed.
The eyes have it no. Yeah, over 10 years.
Now, what say? On no bit me over 10 is hard. On one bit me.
So say other side no. Almost disagree. Almost me come under a substantive motion. I may go to or the 935 no. It was not done. So we believe say budget no. Was approved yesterday. Kwame, we believe that.
Budget has been approved.
Head count no ekoso ana. Kwame besides more.
There be ankoso.
So ruling of Mr. Speaker no. Say ejina until say ye be to enwagu no. As far as I'm concerned and majority no concerned no. Budget no was approved yesterday.
Now, one say
it's not been approved.
No, I think remember. Eja meko we kakra. Nenti America say political point scoring. So team minority leader. Dr. Kisela to forcing. Also a press conference.
Yeah.
At the point say we got to them.
Is that what?
We got to them.
Sana no ka.
Yeah.
Oh, how?
It's like yenyom.
No, I'm actually shocked.
Yeah, nyom. So, hey, many voice, more voice. At the first press conference. I said, we got to them.
He said that.
Why would I lie to you?
No, Chairman, I'm trying to process this.
Yes. So, Debenyago, I politics.
No, I thought like really it was something.
No, listen, Atu Forsen. Achechi muni entia. Omufisa budget niya papa. Okay? Say Ghana for bebre and tax waivers 5.5 billion to 45 companies. A few other things are well listed. You say no more. But this whole thing about approved or not approved, you know. Daniel yourself.
And I make us say,
we got to them, no. I'm saying, got them.
All political goals calling. And I make us say, Kwame, me say, it will be on fathomable. Say, our leaders, Chairman Sabonsu, Afenyo Makin.
I know, but Akajo say actually said we will get to them again.
So, say, omo engage. They say, hey, you levy. I'm for say you levy. Me say they met series of meetings. As no, omo agree. Then they do something else. Me can't say me. I was on Metro TV. Good Morning Ghana. Many one panel, only machines. You program now. How would I do so? Even say. Or Jatum say 1% no. Almost can say when I care for be in free. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I say if 1% no, how will now propose you no. Almost say they were prepared say on be free because of political goals. And na some kind no. At the end of the day, one a benefit, one a lose. The ordinary Ghanaian now or no say. I might say, Matu Akatuemo next year, no. Jam pass a budget now, or better than a survival. You know, almost bread because of a Kosovo dam spillage, no. Kwame, a better than and almost a survival. Because you're not population now, you cannot spend.
No, but the fiscal year ends in December.
But MPP for Ankasano. Kingsley, say MPP for Ankasano if you want your money so. So much money, so. I say you had a majority in parliament. You had a majority in parliament.
Yeah,
and I'm more internal wranglings in kitting,
both internal and
kitting. And now, what do you do, baby? Say, if it is more.
In fact, the hard.
Yeah, can't you know? Debbie, now, Bill. Carrying you.
Me know your leaders, no. I feel for them. Because BBC bar. Almost your leadership, no more blame more. Kwame, with the nature of our parliament, no, and I feel for them because it's easy.
Easy. We'll come to that. 11 minutes past 10.
Speaker of Parliament, I'm not holding brief for him, but I see the position he occupies now. It's not easy to because you see the way I end this for 40 years. Obey speaker no. So at times no. Or take the decision be I also feel for him because Kwame ain't easy.
One family team with the anchor 2020 elections, sir. In Kamodi majority called parliament could you speaker.
I agree with you.
I think it's
over to you. Hey, anyway, let me celebrate my grand aunt at 90. My grand aunt Auntie Jemima Ribeiro Aye out there in Hope House in Mampong. Happy 90th birthday to you. I know that Nyankopon Shrine Eduabe say so from all your children, nephews, nieces, grandchildren, great grandchildren, Yenyina Auntie Jemima Ribeiro Aye at Hope House in Mampong is 90 years old. I mean Mampong Kwapim is 90 years old today. We love you. God bless you richly, Auntie Jemima. Even though I'm a grand auntie, dear friend, Auntie Jemima, to send you auntie, but I'm a grand auntie, pa. Auntie Jemima, I can hear your voice say, "Hey, Sapphire Tereng." It's a happy 90th birthday to you, and a very good morning to very Reverend Ishmael Tete. I know you're with her this morning. We wish you all well. I think the drama and matters are rising in Parliament over the budget 2024. That will say. Because social graphic and up here, majority stages walk out in parliament over budget debate. Daily Guide, majority walks out on speaker over 2024 budget. Free Daily Guide now called Ghanaian Times are drama in parliament. Majority walks out ahead of budget approval. Accuses speaker of playing to minority gallery. But what kind of graphic story in the quite chair? Nia Kinsinyako kind of pay say the speaker actually said the eyes have it until later the challenge by into that is where they hang. Say speaker I declare that I said the eyes have it there. What is the issue? I think me too I drink.
Chairman I say Nedi Kamamincha Republic of Gambaga for Mamprugman yina enano pemichobia ene yeti for mutie ene ni omushaye. Nedi Kain. Also, you can have fundamental disagreements with portions of the budget and economic policy statement. Now, Finance Minister ever present here, no, and so church. But the question I keep asking is, apart from the fact, say, Parliament approve budget, what really can a minority group do about a budget? So, mutie no mutimi reject budget now. Then the executive is forced to relay a new budget and an improved budget. But Semutia, if you are not lucky to have it rejected, na ya approve ya. Chese nsema mu kanini na enkosiaga on the floor. Nemom, you have an opportunity. You see this document, Chairman, is a two-sided document too. It's not just budget. Budget is just simply estimates of what you want to spend and how much you intend to raise. Estimates. But there is inherent in this document, is also another document, and a sub-document called Economic Policy of Government.
Okay.
What is here? And on the one hand, you have an economic policy that gives you general direction. Baby, I di yesika semno echo. And sometimes, if you have that direction, you need to spend, you need to raise revenue to be able to give meaning and effect to our economic policy. What is here? Especially the fiscal side of the economic policy. And that is where the budget then comes. Now, say economic policy, if you have some fundamental issues, especially, for example, you can design tax exemptions here. It's a major economic fiscal policy decision.
Yeah.
Because it borders on how much revenue will be to me. If you give exemption, OBBC is a negative tax. Subsidy exemptions, they are negative taxation. Which means instead of sika, so it becomes a leakage. Now, which tells you revenue and ABA projects will be in the next fiscal year. No, because of some exemptions in leakages, ABC can subeti by this much and by that much.
Okay.
And it's a fiscal policy statement. However, this is just a general statement. Giving meaning and effect to such statement, finds expression in the appropriation stage. Yet the exemptions never. The finance committee will look at it and say, look, now and thankfully, Tax Exemptions Act says here, and to all intents and purposes, it was a well-crafted act, one of the best, if you ask me. And the finance committee, say, look, why do we need to give exemption to this item and so on and so. At the end of the day, for all you know, do finance stage either bet drastically, and now they will not even approve for some of the companies on exemption.
Okay.
Until you can raise this fundamental argument, say, look, we disagree with even the number of companies, fine, but a lot of the work is even required at the committee level. What I say, to make sure say the issues you raised with the general direction are exemptions, you give meaning to whatever issues you raised. Say 45 companies, almost our quantums are yet to me. Of course, they are huge amounts, and they are politically pleasant to listen to, especially if you are from the minority. But maybe GD say raising these issues, enough. Like I said, if you raise these issues, the best you can do, if you have the numbers, they are different. To say near to Dr. Hilali Mano, his budget was shut down. That is if you have the numbers. That is the highest you can get to. But if you don't have the numbers, the best you can hope for is at the committee stage and even at the appropriation stage, obetimi aye juma to make sure say some of the things you have issues with, do not find their way into approvals. What I say. But if you don't have the numbers, the best you can do is to raise the issues. But to go ahead and somewhat try to frustrate the passage of this, I have an issue. Even though Minjin this say any standing orders no ebra, but I think says, look, like he said, a lot of the time budget passage there a consensus building. Yes, kita because money numbers now, the worst you can do is to raise the concerns. But you can't reject the budget because numbers, you don't have them. What you must say? Until what you can do is to raise the concerns, and at the committee level, a whole man war. Now, once you build consensus on the floor, a committee honum now, raise issues nibia. Some of the members on the other side would say, look, a Ghana for Juman and a Ghana mine who Juman di. Until if our colleagues on the other side raise these concerns but still agreed with us to pass the budget, pending further work at the committee stage, Nidia, Nyomu KDS say Yemfam Quadrim.
This year's budget.
Yeah.
Almost raise the issues.
So you threw it out?
Yeah, we
Mukraman Vank, Muaman throwing out Grankajuma, Ghana for Bedimuno. Well, so these are things you in the
and for contingency fund,
Mudi your contingency fund.
Oh no, now this one I don't think so.
And if that didn't say
issue there, but no, Ahmed is speculating. Said that 1 billion is meant for that. I mean, you don't do
no
that.
continue. I mean, I could also speculate for elections. Until we are in the we are betting I can be what I say. But I'm saying that during consensus building, Obi say you disagree, you agree to disagree, and now you disagree to agree. And they say, it's all about quid pro quo. Media and say we'll help you pass the budget. Name your consensus. You drew committee level now.
Yeah.
Muso, you must take into account a consensus. Chairman, that's how you build consensus.
Mm-hmm.
And we as an Aminya said the drama we witnessed Andrew and Anke Hubi. And me, my strongest my instinct is telling me say what the majority did because it's very unusual. If you have the numbers, why would you stage a walkout? Munamudi budget in the buy.
From what they are saying, they said they thought that having the head count, was delay tactics to get the minority members to come in.
Even so, Chairman, who can't stand orders now? They need just simple majority to pass it.
Yeah.
And even if it's by one person, and if you were sure that in any event, you should have whipped all of this. Is your budget too?
Yeah, can I say even some judge came late. Some of them came later.
Your people, you could have also invited your people to come late. What I say? But I'm saying, say, muye consensus anka we nyina ehun hia. But staying the walkout, Chairman, is this argument say, what the speaker did? Nyina, they are all contrived arguments. They have
why? Okay.
Munim say if they were to do say anka ebia.
No, but that cannot be true
because if you have the numbers, why would you maybe say Obikra SCM vote here? Chairman, and I have the numbers, why should I fear? If according to your own calculations, Uncle Muya 5 no number and Amumu 3, still you had to.
No, so as much as I can say, not your name. But the point is that a delay no. Say a delay no. Some also came.
But even so, you have an independent candidate working with you. No, me by simple or delay. At the end of the day, you still have a one-man advantage.
It's part of us.
And American, what I say, until there is no need to fear unless a beer, munim bibia yenim, and that's what I'm saying. That this was a smart move, just to avoid any tragedy. What I say, I mean, otherwise majority, but this is unheard of. Say me ana meeting budget aba. Answer na meeting budget. Say buaba me hu ye because we know what the minority can do. Especially say omu fail to build consensus. Until say your house should be in order.
And so obviously the house
was not in order. Was not in order. And it was a smart move. I don't blame them. And your Musaiti chairman, who can order 113. It says that when the question is put, the first option of voting, the first voting option, voice vote.
Okay.
Now I'm far. If any member, and I'm going to order 113 subsection 2. 2. It says a member may call for head count or division if the opinion of Mr. Speaker on the voice vote is challenged. And the first voting option, voice vote. But if office said so the speaker would give a verdict on the voice vote. Enoka said the ayes have it. But the order allows any member to challenge that verdict.
Okay.
Until once that is challenged, no, then they would proceed to head count.
Okay.
And another they would proceed to head count or division.
And only a Becca Baku Sankati.
Yes. Division no crano. Tieno mo count.
Metie.
Or see, and I'm talking about order 114. 1141. In the case of the division, so you can challenge the ruling of the speaker and demand a head count or division, which is what, as I understand it,
He did head count, only head count. He did only head count. But
who did only head count?
Amakufibo, deputy.
He was calling for a head count.
Head count, but the procedure now, Anka speaker adopt amounted to
division that you were going to vote as who konona body.
So
who konona body na
two tellers would be for each side and talk. So that was how we understood it to be. Okay,
then the ruling of the speaker actually strengthened the strategy of the majority to avoid any catastrophe.
So the budget was
and to some extent. Oh, Chairman, you see, when you are fighting with the opponent, don't give any room for Alagbajiso. And no be na omuya, because already they were, in a tight corner. Now ruling no so amomu chance to resist her. Until I think it became some fair justification for them to work out. But the numbers no namu. But going forward, no, like I said, we mbobia even in the US, each time there's a shutdown. Each time there's a shutdown. Chairman, a hardware. Until even though we are lucky to still have about a month or 1.5 months to the end of the fiscal year. But
and there is COP28.
Yeah, so people my plea to the minority is a lot of the concerns they've raised, but you deal with some of them at the committee level, because there's no way the finance minister would have to go back and bring a new budget. It's not possible. Like I said, the only way Sabit Miesi is when you have the numbers to overthrow this budget. But if you can't, your best is to build consensus and hope, say, and I insist at the committee levels, say, near essay, yenina nagana, enya humfazono, na mwaye. But where's we had 2, we had 3 young, and we got them, and you see, you make it even worse. When you make comments, if indeed he did make some comment, say we've got them. Not just this has become like Atika kind of game.
Yeah, it is.
And Chairman, you can't reduce this all important exercise to an Atika game.
Well, it is.
How do you what is here? Anti minority say or more share or more case. Like you can present your case valid as they may be. I mean your issues valid as they may be, without some of these incidentals are defiling the beauty of your presentation. Now I have made a point. Say one of the ways the finance minister to stay on track is for him to restore the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Chairman, it's not for fun that we have fiscal policy rules, because then him say left for us, we'll continue to spend and spend and spend, ending up in overruns. But yet in Shishebia ebetimia chichie.
The 5%.
Yes. Because this is an election year. And we have that experience to guide us. This political business cycle, we have it to guide us. We believe in the natural goodness of the finance minister. And indeed, he has not demonstrated by his works, sir, or you can trust to be very fiscally responsible. It needs to be restored. That way, on himself, mitra. There's a court that somebody can take me to. But
realistically, the current economic environment now. You have to come back to Parliament for it to be restored. And do you think it is feasible to be done?
No. So, have you seen his targets? He's targeting to have a fiscal balance of around that figure. It's not exceeding 5%.
It was going to be my next. That can be they call Kingsley. So, but my I'll say a friend of Boama, I won't Kokrokoo. I'll say there's no absolute freedom anywhere. Can't our MPs be sanctioned for what they have done?
The majority.
Well, one come majority or minority. Was it the
Okay,
MPs?
well, then,
Remember, the 2021 budget was also delayed up to about May. Whilst this delay was going on, the MPs were receiving their salaries and other perks of their office.
on which budget were they getting those receipts? I mean, just was a Drumeo. I'm not sure.
Even if it was up to, I don't know, how many?
No, only say 2020, only say election year. We prepare budget for about
Yeah, it goes all the way to
the first
3 months,
quarter.
first quarter next
first quarter
year.
of the ensuing year.
Yeah.
So that was what we did in 2021. But the other ones in there, within the fiscal period.
Yeah, because you can't spend in a vacuum. There has to be a budget that supports that.
Let me just do these two things very quickly. I think,
Let's say speakers should reconvene them. Now, minority and majority leadership, no one share. Now, to the extent that you don't have the power to overthrow this budget, the best you can do is to build consensus. And like I said, insist at the committee level, some of the concerns are more. You are able to factor those
and only,
appropriations, and even when it comes to consideration of some of these exemptions and the rest of them.
Tax exemptions, no. We are all worried about that. Art, no. You are passing art, no.
And the act seems to be a very solid act.
1083 art, you are passing. But these exemptions, no, ever before say you pass it at no, and new exemptions for 1D1F ever before.
No, but they should still be affected.
No, till we in a meeting. I'm a chief Mesa Bonsu, our revered leader. Eka say, you find a way be those tax exemptions. You my companies saying, Omuntuya. That's a be later.
No.
No.
What then will be the effect of the law?
No, the law now say integrate with retroactive effect.
No, the exemptions were not laws. They were just requests. They were policy. They were requests.
Yes, but they about before say you pass it.
No, but they were not captured in the previous budget. What you must hear. If you make a request, Chairman, it is captured in the previous budget, and you can't say that because a request was made in the previous year. No, be budget for fry. No. Mrabi swaba.
Me say, leader. Point is exemptions now. We shouldn't give the exemptions. We should let them pay those taxes.
Okay. Fair. That's good. That's good.
I was in that meeting.
I misunderstood what you said. Okay.
And now I say those exemptions.
Yes. That's it.
Maybe if there can be some now.
Yeah.
Yes, fiscal project. So
of course.
So for me, any issue.
Members is here. Any issue? Just hold on there. I'll be right back. 10:30. It's exactly the time on Peace 104.3. Reverend Father Campbell, Obia Yenimse, or a Catholic priest. No, Christ the King, Debia. Na udi nejuma, even though semi-soccer retirement, but about this issue of lepers, Omeye lepesa adia wa bom papa inti osiminfa wintuja said the Lepers Aid Committee Ghana in collaboration with the Accra Omega Lions Club present a musical concert and fundraising to build a kitchen to provide a daily meal for residents in the Weija Leprosarium. It's on Sunday the 3rd of December 2023 at 5 p.m. The venue is the Christ the King Hall, Cantonment. Who's the Christ the King? Opposite Jubilee House. 80 Lepers Aid Committee Ghana in collaboration with the Accra Omega Lions Club. This Sunday, they are holding a musical concert and fundraiser to build a kitchen to provide a daily meal for residents in the Weija Leprosarium. If this doesn't touch you, I don't know what else will touch your heart. Sunday, 5 p.m. at the Christ the King Hall. And Reverend Father Andrew Campbell is spearheading this one. He says if you can't make it and you'd like to contribute via Momo, it is 024 33 26643. I'll take it again. 0243 326643. That is 0243 326643. 3. And no, and our Reverend Father Campbell say, you're fun too, Jam. And for those of you who are into construction, if you're looking for modernized scaffolds for rent by individuals, corporate bodies, construction firms, interior decorators, event organizers, if you're looking for modernized scaffolds for rent, remember to reach out to Wallace and Company Limited. Wallace and Company Limited is at number 88 Ashongmanga, East Accra. That's where the office is. But you can call them for the modernized scaffolds if you are an individual, corporate entity, construction firm, interior decorator, event organizers looking for scaffolds. Call Wallace and Company on 0243 741 319, 0243 741 319. Alternatively, 0249 443 997. That is for those of us when Mamo Peduani Edino Mekamo say, Yasemin Kam say, or say Krum Eduanepa, or say Krum Eduanepa say, or be third branch. Omo bankanum, or maybe a bako ebiminu. The third one is coming, or say Krum Eduanepa. Yes, say, be no China Friday, the 1st of December, area 1 p.m. The new branch is at Okpongulo. La Baleshi Kwanisho Ponglo, opposite Glitz by Zion. So, Osei Krum Eduanepa, the third branch is opening tomorrow at 1 p.m. at Okponglo in East Legon. Is very close to the new Legon Stadium. In Tiwa, Okohebo, Riana, Soko Sport Ria, which we did was Osei Krum Eduanepa. Peace 104.3 Kokrokoo Jumedina na Yetwa Sunum. Na Yenya ba ya mame ba kosamika say my grand aunt and there within 90 years Madam Jimama Raibero aye or Hope House ewo Mampong obiso in India ba say my dearest big sister Mrs. Margaret Eshan of Community 18 Spintex Road on 91 Intime pre 90 my grand aunt Mrs. Margaret Eshan Community 18 Spintex Road. Yesterday was your 91st birthday. Nyamin Shabibre. This one is from Uncle Abel Clark, but it says from me, Papsin, BB, and all the siblings in the UK, Ghana, Nigeria, and in the United States of America. Abrichi. Musa Abattoir in Aswansi says, I totally agree with Atik. NPP should investigate their own because at this crucial moment where a working document of government is being passed, some MPs found needless excuses to have sent themselves from the house. I smell something fishy. Musa Abattoir in Asanwa Ese ND and no by 25 minutes to 11. And then this one says tell Atik Mohammed that as we speak, the budget has been approved by Parliament, finito, and that's Lamte King Rashid in Tema Gulf City. Jesse Boakon in Mamprobi says approval of the budget shouldn't even depend on the number of MPs from both sides. If this tug of war continues, it is the citizens who will suffer. It delays projections into the future and slows down the progress of the economy. This attitude should stop. Jesse Boako from Mamprobi sends that one in. The truth must be told. This 8th Parliament is an embarrassment. They toy with the lives of Ghanaians with this hang Parliament. Ghanaians must besiege Parliament. Well, unfortunately, Mad Lion, I cannot read beyond what I have read. We say we cannot use radio to incite people to do some things. I know you are angry, but Mad Lion, well, this is a Mad Lion. Lion, a boy of food, and now Lion said, be what more damn dear. On more than pony. Anyway.
Chairman.
Yes.
Look, with the other Mammy Shawi, with the Mammy Shasia. Chairman, there's another topic about OSP.
OSP best teeth, probe state land sales payrolls. And whilst you want to look at that, there's one I kept for a while from Sir Obama in Pokwase. Sir Obama says the dismissive rulings by the courts in respect of matters brought to you by the OSP is inimical to the state. It does appear there's a grand agenda to frustrate the OSP, weaken and render it useless in the eyes of the public. I can't fathom how a judge, aside dismissing a case against the OSP, would further prohibit an investigative body from investigating or arresting a fugitive, which precedents are the court setting. One day, a hardened criminal would walk boldly to the court, secure an injunction against security institutions from arresting and investigating them, Sir Obama Pokwasi. And then somebody says, I support the import restriction bill. It will protect local industries and patronage. Michael Ashalaja.
But for now...
Now, Osafo in Kaswa says, if the budget is not approved, who will suffer? The same Ghanaians. Osafo from Kaswa. Okay. Atik Brem.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr.
I think we have an incompetent OSP on our hands.
I
don't mince my words when I say that.
What's why then?
He's an incompetent OSP. Absolutely incompetent. Chairman, why? Until I am from Yankotena Honum, no, because I'm not a lawyer. Lawyer for any court no mudi or masem. Ukona Korea. Then you come back and blame the very judicial. Until Nanka or person yanading. Say assembly or the Bekubia, say yo, yendi assembly mano.
Debbie, what if when ya
no, Chairman, you see, a lawyer should not even speak the way he's speaking.
Really?
He's creating the impression, say, there's a grand agenda by the judges to frustrate his work, which is unacceptable. It's objectionable. So, who OSP? What are you trying? Are you trying to blackmail the judiciary?
Are they?
Chairman, this is an attempted blackmail.
Oh, how?
Say, media. What did you listen to?
Say, or there are some no corners of fish and queer memonka.
No, Chairman.
Meetier?
Or say that he creates the impression as if there is a grand agenda against him. What is here? And once you do that, what you are doing is that you are further whittling away people's confidence in the judiciary. When you now corner a boba, you bounce you are. Uzi judges in a agenda be against you. Mungwana court. Chairman, you see, and sometimes you say be lawyers, but once you say before you go to court, he is always in a rush to do something, and he talks more than he actually works. On the day,
on Kasa, this is his first major.
No, Chairman, when I say Kasa, it's not about. He's always on TV and radio.
Not always.
Well, he's been on TV and radio.
Mostly.
Maude Mamika has been on TV and radio.
Yes, he's been on sometimes.
And Kasa, this is not his first time. And the television no issue all kinds of press releases or corner a bona. Then he creates the impression that as if he's the only one who understands the law, and his understanding of the law is sacrosanct, and that any other opinion other than one opinion is wrong. You see, Kaihun is a nipa na di court no, and he is inviting the court to be unfair to Nkrofo di omo court no, to satisfy him and his so-called fight against corruption. Somebody who even says, say, why investigations found out, say, the individual was involved in influence peddling, and proceeds to conclude the influence peddling and your corruption. And you proceed to call Boba Ozi courts don't have an agenda against you. Chairman Young Kanu, since Papa by which case has he successfully prosecuted?
So Ogusu
no, me. And you see, at near the way, ground to me, near Yanshan and Daniel is going to wade into state lands. Then the other way, ground who's not state lands, not the account. Also, obey payroll. Look, he's inundating himself with all kinds of cases.
Payroll, let me read from graphic. Emmanuel Ebo Hoxton and a Troy, our front page. Kaka already, he said, a joint team of staff from the OSP and the Controller and Accountant General's Department has been formed to spearhead the investigation.
Payroll fraud. CID for.
Yeah.
Me boy. There are all other kinds of agencies on me.
Sounds like OSP.
No, me cap fraud. I said payroll fraud. Where any fraud. What you say? Until you have your mandate, which is corruption and corruption-related offences. Now you are wading into payroll fraud. Missy corruption I do in Mkraun now would be a
I now see you.
Chairman, tell me one successful prosecution.
Na so Gusuye.
I wouldn't hear.
So we.
No, no.
Anna.
Chairman, no, we. La Bianca case na Akosi saying.
Same some more.
No, almost all the cases he took up na Akosi saying.
I don't know. Say I say they've ganged up against him.
you see, Chairman, enamiki.
And you go ahead and conquer appeal.
No, of no. If you feel strongly, say case I would call you know. You like now no kwanswa no mra kwanswa na de call you know. And you bounce, you bounce you. What do? You move up. You don't come and organize a press conference and tell us there seems to be some grand conspiracy against you. Ungwana court, ungwana lawyer.
Oh,
Chairman, I think, sir, look, we set up this office for good reason. And the actions are betraying the very objects of this office. Chairman, we set it up to be able to fight corruption. Now, zooming corruption case, our fight is successfully to the end. Now, instead of you to up your efforts, move to the next, the next rank on the ladder. No, you are saying, there seems to be some grand conspiracy against you by the judiciary. And if there is that grand conspiracy, which means there's never going to be a day I'll bet me a winning case. Because why Jim Rudy show say the judiciary is against you, which means that you would never succeed. And you
Obi Eka said this thing about probing state lands and payroll. The OSP has no such power. I mean, him say,
Chairman, this is fraud. Fraud is not part of your mandate. Because the CID war payroll when a payroll fraud. CID for Juma. And you can say controller. And they say that can check ghost names and so on. And they refer the cases to CID for further investigations and prosecution. I
don't know why you keep saying so.
Tell me, you see, me, I believe in results and outcomes. Tell me, or by
2 years ago, I think August 2021.
Chairman, tell me, which case has he successfully prosecuted?
So he's work in progress.
And you don't see or quite bouncing. That's what it means.
Oh, say Biana or Bequapio.
Maybe me chin and Chairman will be or see. One who's no, and yes or no, our bone. On Peso Jitum say on our bone. Or see judges Luna M. Penny Nimushe.
Say to me, Castle Bone, Casa Song.
Chairman, what is incompetence?
Medium
Yechini, what is the word for incompetence? On what number? Now say, Intinamika's on Husuno because he's Okwana Bon, because Sebi, Minya lawyer, but the concern. The name of the game in law is evidence. Investigation, just rock solid evidence. But for some other reasons, is he telling me say a court back ya oko and a judge back na preside over all the cases? It cannot be say judges now work in a league to frustrate Ungwa lead an anti-corruption agency in this country. The Attorney General himself, or who does even more cases than you know, is not complaining. Said there is conspiracy against or no. Not talk of who they've just hived off. Prosecuting specific cases.
That brings to question controversy here, but I'll ask.
Please do.
Office of Special Prosecutor, here. Did we need it?
That's the question people are asking, and this man is giving he's lending some serious credence to that reservation, and Ebimu was said we didn't even need to create it because we have enough agencies already.
Idea here because you're Attorney General, you're Charge,
yes,
you're Police CID.
Me, I felt
and Attorney General to me nibi Ediama OSP.
Yeah.
So fanya juma.
Yes.
Nebia cases be airbound.
Yes.
Or be a bit about in 10
Yes.
Am Ebia baby say no. We cannot ask say ja postmortem near.
No, of course.
Say baby abedri because say if the OSP a bijra bedroom a complainer. Serious.
No, Gemma, it tells you say he's not built for the game. And media,
I think I would say what personalized the idea.
I've not personalized. Gemma, I'm talking about the office where you know. I've not mentioned his name. It's the office he occupies that I'm worried about. Why recruitment? Is the office. I'm talking about everybody else.
You don't think you should have held the press conference?
No, Chairman, you can hold the press conference to update us on the cases you have, but don't give us the impression, say, bounce you court, you know, because there is some grand conspiracy against you. And I mean, And Chairman, me see, anytime there's a major issue, kukur na sam. What I say, obey Labianke. Chairman, ye kebitia because tax fraud. Idea, me see tax fraud, like trying to avoid tax avoidance. Any tax evasion. Idea, hardware. Ye can want them. Oh, man, Chairman says, "I'll tell Labianka be."
Not really.
You see, no one be utu. Look, law is ntina ebimu say law. The law is
and yes,
Chairman, it takes time because sometimes it can be painfully tedious. But utu bu ye ni ye now the kwa. What me yo like who ankaza onim say me gina bibi sronko so na me ka say. But who pray who gidi now kwa obepem na ve ye nyina esa betina and it is disabling the fight against corruption. Nenti ayeti office no was to help the Attorney General. Cases, no, he does criminal prosecutions and all kinds of things. He's the principal advisor to president and government and all of it.
But don't you realize, say, Biswaka say, when you fight corruption, corruption fights back.
Chairman, there are some people
and that when corruption fights back,
Chairman, no, me tell you, but tell me,
yeah.
Chairman, there are some Nkrofubiso. They pretend to be fighting corruption, but they are profiting from it.
Of course.
Exactly. And Chairman, the question I said, in the case of the Molevu, you can say, hey, there were forces and so on. But no, he's not saying, said, Nkrofubi neti baby are frustrating no. Or see Nkrofuna, who are the final arbiters. Or see Omuna, Oma conspire. Now, I said they are frustrating the efforts at fighting corruption. TNU. If you conclude, say, judges frustrate your efforts at fighting corruption, let's just say there is never going to be a day you can't do the job because that's where your case ends. It ends up in the court. Let's also your court for no. I said there is a grand AEB to frustrate you. Let's just say and my point is, say, OC judges. Like creating the impression say they should be more favorable to you. It's an invitation to unfairness, injustice. Chairman, so see say baby fufro, and in the opinion of all judges, on office case and we are saying say they in the interest of fighting corruption, no, nanke some more alternate judgments are. What are you doing? You are inviting them to do things that ordinarily and common.
Mimisa Bibi, there's something he raised. Assembly of the two and say, Oshesenia courts granted injunctions ni
legal procedures no.
But okay, Bibi say Yansha Dankwa maybe Chinebi Obia Sebi Ebia Wakukunipa. Na other OSP na investigate and Obi na investigate.
They are injunctive.
Nipa ne betimi akọ court.
That's a joke.
Akoka say judge don't stop the investigative body from investigating.
That's an absurd metaphor. It's an absurd metaphor. Chairman, you can't say injunctions are not granted in a vacuum.
Just say
it was on the merit of Neo. I did you or a lawyer, Chairman.
If I don't, or a law lecturer, so can
the law school in West of Ghana.
What is here?
Yeah,
Chairman, you see. You can say injunctions are not granted in a vacuum, and your new wholesale you can say grant of injunctions. So,
sir,
every injunction application is decided on its own merit. And to say because who Obi has been vindicates a claim, say near air course we say injunction now the injunction has been granted. OCO because who no an injunction has been granted into that chibino. Obi betima kukunipa na ya man injunction. What are we even doing? Chairman, let's call this.
Me too.
Let's call the office out. Let them know say Jumana Omuye and so any. They should be, if there's anybody to blame, they should blame themselves and the way Omuye Jumano. And Koye, do not blame the judges. And Yamunkwan, why Shiraj wo. There are times that people contest the decisions of Shiraj and so on. Mibwa.
No correct.
And the German Omuya would, and they've had cases that have not been favorable to them. The court would say, look, Shiraj, this ruling you gave, Yanumu Nyaju, so which is it fair for Shiraj to proceed and say, the ruling frustrated the work against you can say the fight against corruption ana chema wututu nyema ye na kwa una twifo na bu mu be say wontimi nso awunwa ozi wo kechire na enye meboa na maza yes one tutu nyema ye na kokko na bounce a ozi judges na
I think obviously Mr. or say one. The current SP, since his appointment in August 2021, has investigated and put before the court 7 cases with trials at different stages. He has worked on all those cases without a salary for 16 months. 2. Investigated and saved Ghana millions of cedis through corrupt means at the Tema port, from the use of advanced rulings to auction of cars and some that cannot be mentioned for security reasons. 3. Stopped the payment of bloated contracts. In the case of NDA, monies were stopped before it could be paid. 4. Recovered directly over 1 million cedis for the state. 5.
From where?
Investigating over 30 live cases, has over 120 other cases going through preliminary investigations. Atik, how do you describe somebody like this as incompetent? And that is from, say, Obama.
This case was taken to court and successfully prosecuted.
That's it. It's work in progress.
Obi one you. Somebody can say I'm conducting an investigation on you over some weird allegation. And don't say why you be amount until the person is able to prove that indeed near yes why and the person takes to court and wins. That is how competence is not measured like in a vacuum. Outcomes need to measure competence. Ni panisi tema port on where there. Ozi has been able to stop the auction of Chama and then it's still people are auctioning seized goods. Meboa.
I think when you ask for someone.
Uni no wasem. Debbie, Chama Minino. Me I don't even know him. But Nejumano, you see, I'm passionate about the fight against corruption. And Chairman, to the extent say yen yina yejutumu. Even though MPP are buying a Dubai, yen say, look, this is a novelty, not novelty per se, but this is a boost to the fight against corruption. Na yen shut down who near air kosu. Na yen kotia ezi or yejuma in Trianaka. Hey, Chama, has he ever complained in all of the press engagements in Trianaka?
It has come up before.
No, has he ever complained, Missy, or no? And this, in this case, I'm being specific to the man.
Now,
in all other engagement, what he said, which means it's not a major issue. If indeed there is no crampo, it's not a major issue. What I say, Chama wakoji denka well, and you know wako. Ya man denka kraka workspace. No, Chama is a whole story building. He's been given the chance to recruit, even though recruitment, even issues on it. Say some of the recruitments did not go through Public Services Commission.
Well, that's another matter.
What has he? But he's been given the free hand to do near SA Ebebuan Ejuma. And he's not complaining, say, I am not able to investigate my cases because I don't have the full complement of my staff. And I need to idea investigate. They even have military men with cars stationed in that office. And today, I think that it's about time, as Ghana for, we looked into this case. When we say Ghana for are passionate about the fight against corruption. Oh, once Wabeka say, oh, judges no ebimudinam. And on this occasion, I think that the opposition should hasten slowly.
Which opposition?
And this Ivona
Mike.
They are taking his word as divine. Say Kai, judges no cry frustrating ejuma. Have you found that people should take time to read some of the rulings are urban? In the case of Mami Cecilia Dapa, for example, Chairman, you know the things I said about Sakis.
Yes.
But this man hurried to go and seize the properties without doing the right thing. Yeah, Mbonamba. Until we said, we are passionate about Cecilia Dapa case. Nasabi, why you boa? If you tell us a judge is not a boa, because of the passion we have. But Ebia wuna 1 to 2 nyoma ye. I think this office, even though Ebimu say Nanken society, I feel it was to serve a purpose. Adrian Tetchun was solid. Take off some of the load from the Attorney General, especially on what Tidwemuno. He's also a member of cabinet. And investigating the colleagues sometimes is a problem. And there are more who is supposed to be independent. Shena Yewe Juma. Now these are the outcomes we are getting. Young Kotia, you are lamenting. You shouldn't be lamenting. You have no room to lament.
Ntonyade.
Chairman, he should up his legal game and stop inviting and need unnecessary. Says I was your state lands investigations. Ever home. State lands ever home. Payroll fraud ever home. Near the winning ground who's now who's a good fun. Chairman, we need to look more carefully into this. There's a Juma Nebruno Swa. On Kamayun, the law allows for resignation. It also allows for the president to set up a panel and get him out. Oh, but nina options. So, Shano who say Juma Bruno Swa. Oh, Mayun. Chairman, me that's it.
Atik, Bomadia Nakonumusio. Let me say, Senior Okasan, answer when OSP was.
Oh, Chairman, me say me Nino. Me Niazamu. I don't know him, but I just feel say Jumana or Chairman Enkoye. And it looks.
Yeah. Kingsley, me and Uncle.
Chairman, I take a cast, baby. Me can't say, but I mean, I Kiseja Ben, Naman University of Ghana.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So when you encounter, now me head the National Accreditation Board. Now, the inspected legal institutions. No, the institutions now are running law programs. No, and at that time, no. So for your Akufu, yes, the former CJ, and I need justice and Niyaboa. I call around. You couldn't be of Ghana, no. And I honestly, I said that is not normal. No, almost pass good comments about him.
So what bing?
Not necessarily that. Say Ottawa Court near that. So I got the impression say or active court. Now, so you appointed no now become one. Now you need because Chief Justice Mone other justices of the Supreme Court so now say so me I was happy with him, but the American said Yamana Juma is son.
But Chairman, another thing we need to find out is maybe individually, personally, we can demand the list of employees and our staff, our recruiting. We need to know each and everybody working in that office. We need to know who is helping him in that office. The weakness is coming from the staff or whatever. We need to know. And otherwise, we continue to blame the judiciary when indeed the problem is in-house.
Yeah, Kwame, I think that's Kwame. So the American say, when I just only said mandate in abroad on defining a certain scope, on defining scope or operative within. Because okay, say baby bia, Kwame one year careful because o mandate no say obey investigating specific cases, alleged corruption and offenses. So, on about now on defining the oppressor way because we baby coming now oppressor occur into the payroll investigations and all that. Come
state land sale.
Side more no. For me no me I would suggest say pay a more dignified way. You use modern technology. You pay software be a bit media. You digitize this process no. Come another boy. I feel about what team. I come inspection. Come the more nipa there no, and it's going to be leading into corruption. And now more investigating now. Some can be corrupted. You know, kisi so pass or say o trade cautiously. You say ketewese and that do real. One you careful at the end day no people see say now demographic assembly kind my pete obetwe na adwense so kwame wi ase and no be a toolful and a power sem
and you be a toolful no
and a power sem
interesting
brother obi ono ma obi say o cast ma boa wo it's not okokun share was one of the paragraph was say indeed I've had several calls from well-meaning lawyers admonishing me that they have heard not on that
yes, but
they have heard talk about how friends who have been elevated to the bench and presiding over cases in court do not take very kindly to criticism, especially of the public calling out variety, and that if the office persists in the media releases, the judges will gang up against the
Chairman
office
Kiwi.
and throw out all our cases.
This is an indictment on the judiciary.
But let me also add that the next paragraph says the special prosecutor said he personally did not believe judges would, quote, ever adopt such a dystopian stance as it will retard the fight against corruption. But interestingly, yes, the next one, the special prosecutor said then he goes on, however, he said recent judicial decisions relating to his outfit seem to show a disturbing trend. Quote, there appears to be a developing trend of rather regressive and dismissive judicial decisions in respect of cases involving the OSP with troubling consequences. And it seems to us that a careful examination of these outcomes portends a disturbing spectre that the fight against corruption is being hampered to the disbenefit of all.
Yeah, so
what he claims he had.
As an academic, no.
What?
As an academic, now he's getting evidence to support
his claim.
Yeah, what he has heard. And to know, we see the message. So they are taking and say, we know, Kwame, indicted the judiciary. We must all be very careful about that. I mean, what Kasa about injunction. And you know, you see, oh yeah, lawyer for a long time. And one secure injunction there. It's part of the process. You know, message say, Obina Butre. So, because what the assembly court lawyers normally say evidence of me, obet me the beam pass, so when not solid evidence obey for. So you have to do your homework, and as a researcher, no, I will encourage him say, on my the grounds are very strong. Kwame, I say we are song. People can gang up against you. I believe that, but Ben when I say before as a psychologist, before I come to a certain conclusion, now myriad
Peace
of
FM.
facts to support that.
Yeah, there's no basis for that claim.
One person, two persons, no. Unti mean also a justification say, BBA de ekoso na se enkoso. Se obia nipa be 100, na se emu 80, eka se yeah, Kwame, a bed din say a baby.
Not just be.
That's it. So, I wish him all the best. As I said, Tamaya appointed no. But only abutre. Case well, it doesn't mean say ebia the otina so asem no ebia on pewasem.
Enra nyoka nyina no so ba ku bia oyi free loma nyumu.
What does that mean? Say on obey the number so anoko.
Enti pacho my media. Mimra so. Mesumeko.